Welcome to the Armani Talks YouTube channel. I'm your host, Armani Talks. In this channel, I'm covering communication skills to help you with your public speaking, social skills, emotional intelligence, along with other topics to help you build your street smarts. If these subjects interest you, be sure to hit that subscribe button right on below for a new video every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Today's topic is going to be about, it's not that serious. I want you to picture the biggest dummy that you know. Straight up idiot. And you don't have to be politically correct. I know that we all know a person like this. Picture this individual and you have control over this individual for the day. You're going to give this person a cliche and you're going to tell this person to intellectually prove the basis of this cliche. So you're brainstorming for a while. You're thinking, what cliche am I going to give this dummy? It's smart to take the high road. You ever heard that platitude before? Give that to this dummy and make this dummy intellectually prove it. As the dummy is thinking about it for some time, eventually he's ready to give you the talk. He gives you this talk and suddenly he goes from being an idiot to Albert Einstein. He's making a beautiful case for why it's smart to take the high road and why you should think about doing it too. Now here's the thing. We intellectually understand this cliche very well. It's very smart to take the high road because when faced with disrespect, if you're being disrespectful back, you meet this individual in their level, and they're most likely just going to beat you with experience. We've heard a lot of these cliches before, but here's the reality. It's not the nature of the ego to just sit back and take this magical high road when it's faced with disrespect. You got to condition yourself into it. Understand this life law. Humans judge themselves by their intentions. Humans judge others by their behaviors. Let's imagine that you go home, your mom's been making a dish for you, and initially you eat the dish and you're like, yeah, it's lacking salt, it's dry, it doesn't taste good. So you articulate that point to your mom. Now, for outsiders, they may be like, yo, you're being too harsh, you're being too critical. But from you, since you're the one delivering this message, you understand your intention. It wasn't to be mean. It was simply to say, look, the dish is just lacking some salt. Now, on the other hand, let's say you're the one that's cooking the dish and all these different people that came to your house are like, yo, man, the dish is good, but it was just lacking a little bit of salt. In this situation, you're going to be like, how dare they? I invited these goobers into my house and they're going to talk to me like that? Once again, the intention may have been the exact same, but in this situation, we judge them by their behaviors. Why? You want to ask yourself that question. Why? Then you want to take some time to answer it. I'll answer it from my experience. The reason that we do this is because we can be certain of our intentions, but we cannot fully be certain of someone else's intentions. So we judge them by the next thing that we can be certain of, their behaviors. Now, although judging someone by their behaviors is much smarter than judging them by their words alone, it's still not fully optimal at times. And when we're looking at their behaviors a little too much, we may have the tendency to be extremely thin-skinned. So in the end of this video, I'm going to give you a beautiful fix for this. But before I give you the fix, I need to tell you a story about the tuna man. The tuna man helped me understand how people operate. This was roughly around the 11th grade, and around this year, I had my first ever job at Subway. This Subway, just for a little bit of context, was in the food court in the mall. So if you've ever been to a food court before, you'll see all these other different restaurants, all competing for customers. Now, my manager, his name was Ashish, and his whole life was Subway. His main goal was to get as many customers as we could. So he would always discipline his workers. He'd be like, listen, I don't care how rude the customers are, you never argue back with them. Always fix their orders if they ask, even if they were wrong. And always call them sir or madam. This was fair because, this was my first ever job. I didn't really have anything else to compare it to. I said this was fine. And luckily for me, most of the people that would come to the shop was extremely polite. They would be very gentle, and they would know that I was just starting off, and they would take their time with me. All besides this one guy. He was an older man with a beard, wore glasses, wore jeans all the time, and would wear a collar shirt all the time. I believe he worked at the mall. I'm pretty sure what he wore was his uniform. And routinely, he would come and he would get the same exact order. White bread, tuna, Swiss cheese, lettuce, tomatoes, salt and pepper. Day in and day out, he would get the same exact order. The problem with this guy was that he was extremely rude. He would always tell you that you were doing things wrong. He'd yell at you. He'd say that we're working too slow. And he just criticized us. A lot of these people, if they would criticize us, they'd at least give us a tip to let us know, like, yo, man, it's not personal. But this idiot wouldn't give us tips either. So I didn't like him. Routinely, he would come and he would berate me and he would just leave. As some more time started to go on by, I started to notice that he would get the same exact order every single day. And I started to realize if I memorized this order, he would probably think that that's extremely considerate. And since I'm being considerate, he's probably going to be nicer to me. This is what my 11th grade self thought. So the next day that he comes in, right before he's about to speak and say his order, I'm like, don't even, man. You want the white bread, tuna sandwich, Swiss cheese, lettuce and tomatoes, salt and pepper. Am I right? When I said that, he got heated. He was like, why would you assume something like that? Why are you watching me in the first place? Don't you have anything better to do? Why don't you work faster? Why are you just observing me all the time? All the time, man. This is the first time ever. And he is just yelling at me, and my boss is standing right next to me. So this makes me look extremely bad, and my boss has to speak up for me, and it's like, sorry, he won't do it again. And overall, I was extremely offended, and I wanted to curse this guy out. I truly did want to insult him. Until what happened next day. I had two other coworkers with me, Russian coworkers, Ashka and Dima. And the next day that I come into work, I see Tuna Man over here yelling at these two. The same way that he was yelling at me the day before, he's yelling at these two in the same exact way. When I saw these two getting yelled at, I started to feel happy. This is probably bad of me to say, by the way, but I started to feel happy. Mainly because it was never personal. It was never that serious. Younger me initially was just judging this guy by his behaviors, of how rude he was, his tonality. But when he was behaving the same exact way with two separate coworkers of mine, I started to understand that it was a personality trait from his end. Once I started to understand that this guy just naturally was a jerk, which may not be the right thing to say, but yeah, he was just a jerk. It was much easier for me to maintain patience with him in the near future. I didn't try to change him anymore because I understood that he required years and years worth of experiences to become the Tuna Man. So I told you that I was going to give you a fix for stop taking things personally. And what I want you to always just assume is that these people either don't know any better or it's just their natural personality. You only take it personal when you feel as though this person is only acting this way with you. Then, you're justified to take it personal. That's when you got to draw boundaries. But when you understand that this person acts like this with all other individuals, the tendency to personalize immediately evaporates. So when I came to find out that Tuna Man was like this with everyone, I realized that it wasn't just with me. And that's when anger turned into joy. So the next time that you're over here trying to, lose your control of someone, just judge them by their intentions. As hard as it may be, and a lot of the times you'll realize that this person doesn't even have an intention for you. It's just their personality type. And when you came to understand that is their personality type, it becomes easier than ever to not personalize. It's not just with you, it's with everyone that this person acts this way towards. It was never that serious. And the day that you stop taking it so seriously is the day that you build thick skin, You maintain enthusiasm no matter dealing with rude people, and you maintain even more enthusiasm when you deal with good people. If you want more practical insights like this into the world of social skills, be sure to sign up for my free daily newsletter, which goes out every single day at 7 p.m. I drop stories in my newsletter like I dropped in today's video. Go on and subscribe by hitting the link in the description box right on below. And thank you for joining the Armani Talks YouTube channel.